Hey guys, Nick Layton here. If we haven't met before, welcome to this video. I'm talking about the Headrush Pedalboard. I've been a Headrush user for probably last September of 2019. So it's April 2020. That's about 7 months, maybe 8 months of using this, and I've been using it live. Obviously not right now with everything going on, but I've used it plenty live, and also it's been my main tool since last fall for recording for my band FireWolfe, and also for creating YouTube videos and guitar courses as well. I've been using the Headrush to accomplish all the tones that that you're hearing on all the stuff I'm putting out there. So I really love it. To be honest, it took me a while to kind of get the sounds that I was looking for, and I'm still, working on always improving my tones. But what I've got for you here is 6 of my favorite hard rock and metal tones that I'm using with my band FireWolfe and using on all my videos. Depending on what I'm doing, these are the sounds that I'm mainly sticking with. And so I want to share these rigs with you. You'll see a link in the description below where you can download these rigs, and also the IRs. So the IR is very important, the impulse response for the speaker and cab simulations. I want to give a shout out to my new friend, Greg Barth, and he made these IRs for me. And Greg, if you're watching, really appreciate that, buddy. And they sound great. So you'll get those to choose from as well. So let's get going on the rigs. We'll get started here. Everything you heard in the video that I played at the beginning was different versions of the rigs that I'm using now. So before we get going on that, check also in the description below if you are a guitar player watching this and you want to improve your chops. I've got a free sweep picking guide. It's awesome. It's got all kinds of arpeggios and tutorials on how to improve your sweep picking as well. So make sure to check that out in the link below. Alright, so let's get started with the first rig. Now what I'm going to do is just go through each rig briefly, because you'll get a chance to check these out yourself. You can download them, upload them to your pedal board and check these out and see what you think. Also, be sure and comment. I'd love to hear your feedback on these rigs. First one. Now on the left side of the recording during the demo that I played at the beginning, the left side rhythm was a Plexi, a 68 Plexi. So let's take a listen. This is the Plexi Dry. Okay, so what's happening, I call it a pushed Plexi because I've got a tube screamer in front of it. And this is typically how I would run a regular amp, is to have a Marshall type amp, which I tend to favor, and hit it on the front end just with a little bit of overdrive. And that's what's happening here. I think it tightens up the bottom end a little bit, gives a little bit more gain, gives it more of that, you know, that 80s classic metal sound that I love. That's usually what I'm going for, is that type of vibe. And I would use this for rhythm or lead, really. I think it's a really nice tone. Cleans up pretty nice too. Okay, what I have on there is maybe a touch of reverb. Just think of it a little ambiance. But mainly, you know, there's also a tape echo on it, and it's just for when I'm doing leads and stuff like that. Sometimes if I'm recording for FireWolfe, I'll just use a delay plug-in, but everything on the demo that I played was just the pedal board effects on. In this case, it was just dry, pushed Plexi on the left side. And I've also got a parametric EQ on it, just cutting a little bit of the low end below about 120. And that's just to kind of cut out any of the flub. There's no EQ at all in the Pro Tools mix here, so all these tones are directly from the pedal board. And that's really it. I've got set up for live. I would have a boost with a graphic EQ and just have that boosted about 2.5 dB just for when I kick in for solos, if I'm using it for that. And that's it. That's my pushed Plexi tone. That's on the left hand side. Now on the right hand side, I've got a Marshall 800 bass mod, and this is also pushed with the tube screamer. So very similar setup, but different tone. That had a little tape echo on. Here it is dry. There's enough gain there. There's quite a bit of gain, but not too much. It's very clear. Perfect for lead guitar or rhythm guitar. So that's on the right side of the mix. So I've got the Plexi on the left, the 800 on the right. Nothing else going on here, no EQ. That's it. You know, obviously if I was going to use it with a little bit more of a lead tone. I put a little delay on it. Something like that. The IR, my buddy Greg, he made this for me. This one's called Nick Layton 3. So when you get these, feel free to go ahead and change the names of the rigs and the IRs so they suit your needs, so you remember what they are if you like them. Alright. Okay, that was rig number 2. Rig number 3 is the one that I use for the lead guitar stuff. This is based on a Bogner red channel of the Bogner amp, which I love because it's warm. It's kind of got a fat tone to it, but it can also cut through if you've got it set up correctly. So this one I do have another parametric EQ on to cut some of that low end so it's not too flubby, and I also gave it a boost in the mid-range just a little bit for solos. So that's the kind of thing you probably want to tweak to taste, or just turn it off and dial it in with the amp if you'd rather do that. Also have the green overdrive, the Tube Screamer. That's my favorite of all the overdrives with this unit. And here's what that sounds like dry. So this is just dry. All of these clean up really nice. None of them are too distorted where, you know, where it's just going to be fizz and stuff like that. So this one, I did have some delay on the tape echo for the solos. I should mention too what guitar I'm playing through. This is a Chub Tone. It's a company out of California. Custom made this for me. I'm a lefty player, but they make guitars for anything you want. It's a builder that used to work at Charvel, so you get kind of this super Strat. Pickups, I have a DiMarzio Tone Zone in the bridge, DiMarzio Air Norton in the neck. So they're not exceedingly hot, but they are hot enough. So it's always a balance with any of these rigs. What I've found is most of the time when I'm using someone else's rigs, I have to do a lot just to make them work with my guitars and stuff. But hopefully, if you have a super Strat style guitar like this, you won't have to tweak these too much to get the tones I'm getting. I think it's set up really well for 80s hard rock and metal, which I'm kind of known for, or even like classic rock, hard rock. Modern metal isn't really my thing, so you probably would go for more of the heavier sounds with that. But for that classic Van Halen, Rat, Scorpions, Iron Maiden, Queensryche, Dio, Savatage, all that good stuff, these are the kinds of tones that I go for. Okay, so that's the Bogner Red, and there's really not much else to it. Again, my friend Greg has created the IR for me, so thanks, Greg. Let's keep moving. I didn't want this video to be too long. We have next, at the very beginning of this, of the track that I played on, there's an affected guitar which has a vibe phaser on it, and I just use that straight up the middle. It's based on a Soldano amp, and it's got a little bit of vibe phase on it, and I just rolled off the volume. Get kind of that sound. It's a nice tone, but if I take that off, I've got the Soldano and I've got the Green Overdrive, and it's a great rig. I'd be totally fine using that for rhythm or lead guitar. Put a little delay for the lead. It's great for that too. So some of these that I'm showing you are interchangeable depending on what guitars I'm using or what song I'm playing on or what project I'm working on. I might use the Soldano over the Marshall, for example. So this one I just wanted to include because I think it's a good rig, a good all-around rig, and you can also use that vibe phaser. While I'm thinking about effects, let's go back to the Plexi. And one of my favorite new things to use is this octaves, I should say. I was creating a Dio tutorial video with one of the songs was using this octave effect, and so I started thinking about using that more often because it's really cool. Playing faster, it tracks really well. Super fun. It sounds really cool on a clean sound too. But anyway, that's the octaves. This thing has so much you can do with it. The Headrush is amazing with all the options that you have. And honestly, that was one of my problems with it at first, was there's just too many options for a guy like me who's more old school using amps and pedals. So this took some getting used to for me. But now I really find the ease of use, the convenience of being able to stack effects or do whatever I want to do just with a click. The touch screen is beautiful with the drag and drop. It's a lot of fun to work with once you get past that initial overwhelming feeling and start getting tones that you like. So hopefully some of you newer guys here, or some of you guys that have been looking for hard rock tones, hopefully this will help ease the pain a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see, which one haven't I talked about yet. I've also got a 5150 which appears in the track. Now I love the 5150. That's a really beefy rhythm tone and a nice lead tone as well. All it is the 5150 with the Green Overdrive and one of those wonderful IRs that Greg made for me, which I'll include, and that's all that I have on this. Now I have it loaded up with options if you're going to use it live, like a boost and tape echo for some delay. Let's hear what that sounds like. One of my favorite tones on here, the 5150. I'll often use that in combination with a Marshall, right and left. It's a really nice, different sounding stuff that still sounds great to me. So that's it for that one. It's just straight up 5150 with a tube screamer in front of it. And again, so simple, right? And so that's why I love this. Okay, now the Studio Clean. This is the, I think this is the 6th tone here. You know, getting a clean tone with the Headrush is really pretty easy because there's so many great amps that do cleans well. I found it a lot harder getting distorted tones exactly like I wanted them. Just took a little more time to do that, but the cleans right out of the gate, fairly easy. What this is, it's a 59 Deluxe, and it's the gain mod, and all it's going on here is a compressor to keep things a little even. Got a little high end on there so it cuts through a little bit. There's a delay and a couple of different reverbs on there. If I turn those off, I think that's an old Dio song actually. Anyway, now if I turn the compressor off, see it's a lot, the volume's gone down quite a bit. Compressor back on. Okay, and then a couple options I have for this. If we put the delay reverb back on, I've got a boost, white boost. It just gives it a little bit, you know, a little bit more oomph, a little bit more volume obviously, but also cuts through a little bit, a little more top end maybe. Now if you were looking for just a completely pure clean tone, I probably would recommend a different amp here, like a Fender or something like that. You can get it with this, but this one breaks up a little bit, which I kind of like with clean tones. I kind of like a little bit of breakup. So this one I'm still working on, to be honest with you, but I'm going to include it anyway. And hopefully you guys can make good use out of this and create some good tunes. And that's really it. I just wanted to show you some of my favorite hard rock tones and the things that I use. And hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. If you've got some cool rigs, you can point my way as far as checking stuff out. That's cool too. Right now I'm pretty happy with what I got, and you know, just the different things that I'm using. And I find myself recording a lot more, and I find myself a lot less stressed when I'm playing live. It's just, I know my tones are going to sound good. I run it through a full range Headrush speaker. You can kind of see that in the back there. And it sounds great. And when I'm recording, I just run it through Pro Tools and my monitor is set up here. So anyway, yeah, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't tried a Headrush yet, I definitely recommend it. I've yet to try the gig board, but I'll probably end up getting one at some point. You know, nice and compact and easy to carry around. This one I got so I could do some touring with it, which obviously nobody's doing touring right now. So I have yet to fly with it, but I've heard from other people that do. There's no problems. You just get a good case for it, which I have, and either carry it on or put it in baggage and you're good to go. That's it, guys. Make sure and check out the link below to get the rigs. Make sure and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Rock on.